Well, where does a film start, you know? And for me, always the film starts in my own life and searching for an expression for what I feel is important to tell the world in a way, you know? So it's always a very personal approach to something that is growing inside of me. And after having a long journey behind, things become more and more clear. You know, I mean, there's so many things and products produced now that I have more and more the feeling that you have to be very aware of what to add to all these huge quantity of images, of sounds, of text, of everything, you know. So that's the critical question that I have to ask myself always again in starting a new project. And if you feel that the urge of creation, the urge of creating is strong enough, then I can embark myself in this little boat towards the unknown. And as I'm a filmmaker who works very much with intuition and instinct, and I'm more like an improvising musician, you know, and it's not by chance that I made many films also about improvised music. It's always again a kind of improvisation, and at the end you are quite amazed how and where things brought you to which kind of people, to which kind of places, and the logic of what you started with is then evolving after the shooting, after the montage. And it's an adventure, you know. Filmmaking is an adventure. I mean, this I answered already in my first question, you know. I'm somebody who is not searching for a topic that could be interesting but it's grown inside of me, and it's a long process of growth towards certain ideas, certain images, certain inner visions, and then you try as as somebody who is at least working with documentary material, that you find this inner version as a reflection in the outside world. And this kind of exchange between your inner space and the outside is something that then leads to a film. So I can't separate my personal life and my commitment from my work in a way, you know. It's this, and I always felt close to people and to artists where life and work is very close together, you know. The friendships that had grown through the years to people like Jonas Mekas or Robert Frank, and also the admiration for an artist like Marcel Duchamp is always, or John Cage, for example, is always born out of this unity of life, personal life and artistic expression. And that's something that will accompany me till the very end. Well, you know, if you think about where to place you, or then I would always say that poetry is the closest form of expressing myself, and I always would think of me as a film poet. So the formal side of finding images that are not necessarily explaining things, but are kind of visions that contain certain ideas, is always for me the big challenge to create for the creation of a whole film. So I have a topic, I have an idea, I have many ideas at the beginning of the process of making a film, but then the real long way, because now what I have done is again a 6 years work, is a slow process in finding the images as poetic miniatures in reality, and to transform this into a whole narration that at the end will be a narration of a 2 hours film. So the formal side is very important. Contenu and form is for me on the same level of a personal challenge that I have, you know. And sometimes things happen in front of your eyes, and you know exactly that's the magic moments you were longing for, you are waiting for, but they come all of a sudden, they appear, and you need the inner disposition to be ready to catch them, you know. And sometimes it happens, and sometimes not. And if a certain amount of these moments come together, then I have the feeling the film is born.